Welcome to the Gabrielle Spencer Power Up Your Abundance podcast. Help us to continue to share the message of abundance with people all over the world by going to uanow.net/unlock for your no-charge abundance MP3.
Hello, everyone. This is Gabrielle Spencer.
Hello.
Hi. Who is this?
That's Karen.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Oh, good.
Good. Then we might as well start with you, Karen, since you're on the line with me already. Sound good?
Okay.
Cool. All right. Karen, where are you calling in from?
Ohio.
You're from Ohio. All right, then, Karen. We'll start by just asking you if you have something particular that you feel is blocking you.
Well, it's like we want to sell our house, or if I want to have a yard sale, or I just feel like, oh, nobody will come. Oh, we won't be able to sell it. Or it, well, it won't for me.
So what's after the sale of the house? What's next on your list? Like when you sell the house, what happens?
You move, you go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But we don't know where we're...
Is it not defined? Is that the problem?
Yeah, it's not. But even the same thing, if there's a yard sale, or if I need to sell something, like if I want to put something on a marketplace and sell it, it's almost like I'm embarrassed to do it, or I feel like I won't be able to sell it.
Yes. What I'm getting is it's not about the sale. It's about letting go. And it feels like you would be more certain about letting things go if you had something you were going to. So that's why I was asking you what's after, because it doesn't, that seems to be what the issue is. In this particular case, it's not that there's so much a block. I mean, I understand the next part of that question is more about you don't actually want to let go. So that's another issue. Mm-hmm. So is that what you want me to work on in general, just that you're willing to let go? But what I'm saying to you is it'd be easier for you to be willing if you had something that you were going to. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You're not blocking, but you're also not excited. So in that way, you're not helping yourself, right?
Yeah, because I don't know where we want to go.
I know.
We're headed.
So, Okay, so what is the block to knowing? You see where I'm driving you here? I want to know why that hasn't come forward for you. Why is that a problem? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Why is it that we don't have an answer? Where's the block? If I had to tell you what I see, I just see a wall. It's not actually like even a road, like, okay, Karen, it's a really long road, but stay on it. You're on it. Just keep going. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not.
Right.
It's kind of like there's just, if I had a cliff and that was the end, that's it. I'm just looking over and there's like nothing. So it's something within you or, your circumstances. There's something where you haven't invited in what's next. It's sort of like there just isn't. Let's just work on that. You know why? Because you don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like the indecision is so great that actually that's the stopper for you. What's your husband's name?
Ron.
Okay. If it's all right, I would like it if I could call both of your higher selves to work on you, because it isn't just you that's involved. And it's also not just you who's undecided. Like, it's definitely strong enough that it's a joint effort. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
a joint effort that's keeping you both in the dark. And that's what it really is. What I'm saying is, like, what's next? It's just dark. And so even that means there are no energetic possibilities coming, which is also really frustrating you. It also means that you're not reaching out to invite any either.
Yes.
So,
I understand that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it's dead quiet, when the energy is dead quiet and all that I can see is dark, it just means, yes, absolutely, you're stalled. Nothing is moving. So just do me a favor, if everybody on the call would do this, this really helps the energy and we raise the frequency, because what we want to do here is raise the frequency for both of them. And it feels like a washing away of old memories and feeling, when you're in a place for a while, you don't actually have any imaginings of what is after because you only know what you know.
Right.
And it's about infusing you both with the, this is kind of funny. I'm laughing what I'm hearing from the other side. It's like providing you a fun elixir, like throwing off the old to let's see it as an adventure versus we have to have lock, stock, and barrel every step or we're not moving forward. We're not doing anything until something comes. But see, that in and of itself is resistance because you're telling the universe until it comes, we're not moving, but that's not how it's perceived energetically. It's I'm not moving and nothing will come. Get it?
Yeah.
This is important for everybody because this happens so much. Like, I won't leave this job until I have another one. And I'm not saying this so that everybody leaves their job. What I'm saying is, instead, you ask the next question, just like when you said to me and you're not sure what to do. That wasn't the question. Did you notice? The question is, it's after that we're really talking about. That's the issue. And so we move to a totally different question, not the questions that you've been struggling to answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So our big question to the universe is, what's the adventure? Because that's what you're struggling to do, both of you, is to throw off the, it feels like a big overcoat. This is what we've always worn. It's always how we've done it. And it's allowing you to breathe in that fresh air of just new. Like we're willing to be set free from everything we've known so we can see how life assembles itself anew. How does that feel?
That sounds great.
It does. It feels good too. All right, I want you to, it's as we're talking, it's being worked on. So for you and everyone else out there who finds it difficult to release themselves from the known, which then turns into a rut and keeps us from growing and expanding, just breathe that out and allow it to release. Oh, it feels so much better. All right. So how do you feel now?
I feel like it's possible.
That's awesome. So whenever you start, in fact, continue to just close your eyes, roll them up as I teach over and over so you get into that theta brainwave state. Take a deep breath and ask your higher self, show me what's next, instead of going with your question. This works for everybody, and everything I'm telling you will work for everything that you have coming into your life. It's not the question we think it is about probably 99% of the time. Does that make sense? Where we get fixated is not actually the question that needs answering. So this, I really appreciate you being on the line with me, because this is what I love, is this part is being able to really provide the answer, but go beyond just a simple psychic answer, right?
Yes.
All right, I want you to keep practicing what we just did, all right? And you'll get better and better and clearer for you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, sweetie. You're welcome. There are times in our lives, like I said earlier, where we've done something for so long that we find it difficult to step out of that jacket or that box or whatever it is that's keeping you contained, because you've always done it this certain way, and it's hard to see what's next.
Continue to do what we've just discussed, and you will find that you will get clearer and clearer with what the next step is.
All right, so in my chat box we have Suzanne says, Suzanne is from England. It's 10:30 p.m. there. She says, I love the first clearing, the one we did with Karen, releasing the known and asking my higher self to show me what's next. It's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it is perfect. And it's one of the things that we find hard to do, to just let go
of what we have in our mind as to what's needing to be done. And for those of you, if you don't have it, I do have a free recording with that very topic called Letting Go to Be in the Flow. And it's on my main website at GabrielleSpencer.com. You just scroll down. It's the second opt-in, and it's called Letting Go to Be in the Flow. And that will help you to allow your mind to release all the questions.
So let's take our next caller.
All right, tell me how I can help you.
If you'd asked me a year ago, my question would have been clearing around my relatively new business. But over the last year, I realized I had a lot of other work to do before I even got to the business. That was not the question. And I've spent a year on myself, past vibrations, the whole thing, and I'm in a different place. And I just think there's one last something to be known or cleared around the success of my new business.
Sure there is. What I see immediately is you know what a walk-in freezer is?
Yes.
So what are you doing in the deep freeze? I don't know what that means. So what is it? It's going to be big, whatever it is. So that last thing is got you like in, it's a deep freeze, like this freezer I'm seeing, like there's room to walk around. It doesn't mean that some things aren't working, but it also has very defined walls and also keeps you not freely moving. Like if you think about a freezer, right, you would move around, but eventually you kind of would get sluggish and slow because you're freezing.
Okay.
So the metaphor is that it's keeping you from fully breaking out, right, and being fluid, as opposed to being out in the middle of a meadow, which is the next picture, like dancing around free. So there is something keeping you sort of locked down, although it may not totally feel locked down.
I use that
alliteration. I think you feel it.
I use that
Which one?
Within the last year about going back to past, like little girl or teenager or mid-20s, 30s or current. And that mid-20s, 30s girl, I used that I was frozen in a block of ice. That's the term that I used.
Well then, let's do it. Let's see what this is. Because like I said, it's not as simple as Karen's. So that means that it's a deeper and a more to do with other timelines, other lifetimes, especially because it's thick like a walk-in freezer would be, but at least it's not a chunk of ice. So that's positive. See?
Right.
Making some progress.
Making progress.
Yeah, there's some progress there, but it's going to be about unlocking you and setting you free. Primarily, they keep showing me the door, and you know how there's a door, those really heavy levers on those. If you all could see me, you would see my hand like pulling on the lever. So we're going to open the door basically and let you out of the deep freeze. So we're going to work on this energetically. Everybody just close your eyes and assist by rolling your eyes up and taking a deep breath. And together we're going to raise the frequency high enough to provide the frequencies. It's going to be some really high frequencies that's needed, some really old, ancient keys and codes to help you. As I said, it's old and it has to do with recovering an aspect of yourself that is in. You know what's funny is just came to me is the saying, when hell freezes over, this is your hell frozen over. So I think that for everybody in the audience, that means never say that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
That's funny. I never thought of that saying as actually being literal. Have you?
No.
So everybody, the answer to that is you can go into a hell that is a deep freeze. Okay. We're going to use some very ancient frequencies and formulas to help heal this aspect of your soul that went into this deep freeze zone. You let me know when you feel free, okay? And hopefully your and mine will coincide and I'll get the we're done. And to forgive yourself. The situation that occurred, I want to say it's by accident, and at the very same time I heard but there are no accidents. So it's almost like you did it with the innocence. You know how people think to themselves, I'm going to just do it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to just do it and just kind of let things fall where they may. That's sort of how you got yourself in the situation, is that you just, you wanted to be naive about the consequences and you didn't take them very seriously. And that's how you got yourself trapped. Does that make sense? Feel right?
Okay. I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Okay. I want you to, are your eyes closed?
Yes.
All right. I want you, instead of telling me what you think, I want you to feel within your body. I want you to tell me when your heart area feels like it's no longer constricted. Because this is a heart issue. It's reclaiming an aspect of your heart. It's not actually what your mind thinks. We're calling that aspect of yourself back and returning it to your heart. So it's healing a layer of your heart, which I speak about often, the importance of healing every layer of your heart. So from every lifetime, you have a layer. And so we are returning an aspect of a layer. Okay, there it goes. Take a deep breath. So the question is, she's freed from the deep freeze. I get that you are. All right, you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, hon. All right, so in my chat box, we have Paige. She requires balancing of knowing and not knowing about her employment. That's a good question, Paige. Let's check in here and see. All right, so one of the issues, there's a few things going on, as you know, Paige, and they have to do with, you feel rejected, but at the same time, you are rejecting. So it's kind of like a circle of rejection going on, which means that you don't really want the job that you're applying for or that you're qualified for. And this is causing you to be completely unhappy, but adrift to, like, you know, you need a job, you need to make money, but there's nothing that is exciting you. And so you're rejecting the opportunities. And then if you are getting any opportunities coming your way, you're then being rejected by them. But it feels like it's pretty dry. Take a deep breath for me, because this is a bigger issue, of course. It isn't just that you're unhappy about the job or your job prospects or what you're qualified to do. It is about connecting from within yourself to find that joie de vivre, what would interest you. And that's what sort of has you really all bound up, I see. It's when I look, it's like, imagine somebody just has rope, but tied haphazardly all around them versus, you know, where you're free. So it shows me that for you, you really are unsure about where you would want to go. So for some people, it might be, you know, I feel like they would say, you know, I don't want to do that. I would rather be a race car driver. And they really, really want to do that, but they can't because they can't leave their cushy job, you know, the golden handcuff thing, you know, I've got all this other stuff going, so I can't leave that job in order to go pursue something else. But for you, you don't actually really know what you would like to pursue. And so this is, you're asking me, can I create something? You could create something, but that's what we need to do first, is help release all those bindings, all those restrictions that you have that are keeping you from even knowing what that something would be. Even if I said to you, yes, of course you can create something. Everybody can create something, but it's that you wouldn't have any idea. It would almost be throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping you hit the middle red dot. So instead of you feeling like, I know what I want to do, you're just sort of throwing darts around, or my favorite saying, you know, throwing it against the wall to see what sticks. And, you know, nothing is really exciting you that much that you would want to pursue as a hobby or anything else. If you're writing to me that you're thinking that what I would like is just a hobby. And what I'm saying to you is, sure, you could do a hobby, but if I asked you right now, what hobby would that be? Could you give me less than 3 things you would choose? Go ahead and write me in the chat box. What would you choose as a hobby? Because I feel like the issue is actually a disconnection. There's a disconnection that actually begins, it's definitely between your 3rd and 4th chakras. where you've been going through the motion, but you're not really sure what gives you any zing. So you're telling me that you would do writing, art, or pets. So we're going to focus on this connection, and then we're going to see what your answers are after. If your answers are still writing, art, or pets, or if you have one of those that strongly stands out after we do the clearing for you. Okay? So go ahead and close your eyes, roll them up. Everybody help raise the energy frequency so we can do our very best to assist her with the highest vibrational clearing that we can. Take a deep breath, and I would love it if everybody would be willing and open to receiving this energy that is coming in. It is an energy of heart light into your heart, receiving this white golden light for self-love and self-acceptance. Knowing thyself is what I hear. Honoring thyself. I like when they use Old English, that's fun. Take a deep breath, because that last one, honoring yourself, is the big one. And we're going to allow that to move up and out. Allow it to do so. Receiving the healing energy frequencies needed to heal that aspect of your chakra system in every dimension without limit. Okay. Now, Paige, tell me in the chat box, so of the 3 items that you told me you would like to do as a hobby, writing, art, or pet, are any of those popping out as definitely something you want to do? Okay, I'm with you, Paige, because I got the pet, so whatever it is about animals that you want. So Paige writes in, she wants to do art that has to do with animals. I love it. I think that's an excellent fit for you. And anything you do regarding animals, whether it be art or pet sitting, whatever, that's your area. So I hope that helped you get clarity. And then you as well, and Karen earlier, please go ahead and let me know over this next week what's happened, what's altered or shifted or changed for you, and how this has helped you. That I would most appreciate. Now I want to go to Sal. Hi, Sal. How are you?
Good, thanks.
All right. Tell me how I can help you.
I don't have any work right now and have no money, so I'm feeling kind of panicky.
That can happen. All right. So besides the panicky part, okay, past that energetic, what is it that's keeping you from having a job or bringing in money? It doesn't have to always come through a job. So for you, your eyes are closed. I don't mean figuratively. I mean energetically they're closed. So what is it that you're unwilling to see?
This happens a lot. It's happened throughout my whole life. I make money and then I lose it and then I make it again. The cycle.
Yeah, but okay, understood. That's a cycle. But as like with Karen, the immediate question isn't actually the question. Because when I'm connecting to you, I see 2 eyelids that are closed, which tells me that there's something you're unable to see or unwilling to see beyond just what the norm is. And so if that's the case, then let's just go ahead and release that, because it's not going to be something you're cognizant of, you're conscious of. It's going to be something deeper than that. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's blocking.
Right. So, yes, of course. That's why we're having the call. This is the fun part where we actually get to go. I say this probably almost in every call, where none of us know what's blocking us. If we did, it would be unblocked, right? We'd be able to unblock it. The whole point of doing this is because it's never what we think it is anyway. So you realize that you have this cycle running, but actually there's a root issue that is creating the symptom of this cycle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So the cycle is just a symptom of something deeper. Just like previously we were talking about, the freezer. That's something that's not directly causing her symptom, but it created the symptom. See? It's kind of a very interesting effect, cause and effect, but in a different way than how we're taught to think about it. So what we're going to do is see what it is that I see what it is. Wow. All right. So it's you're showing me like a Swami headband, but it's not a Swami exactly. I think it would be like a ruler, like when you have the gem on the center of the turban. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's from a lifetime where you were, I don't know what they call them, but a ruler, a king, or what have you. And it went bad, of course. So, but you were, it looks like beheaded from behind, which means not that you were set up to be beheaded, actually, more like somebody snuck up in you while you were doing your prayers.
Oh.
That's very harsh, and it causes lots of issues. So it would also explain not seeing, meaning that you're not aware of the people around you and what's happening. You're not aware to what's going on around you. You kind of keep your eyes closed, or you don't really validate your own feelings about it. Whew, there we are. That's what it is. Do you feel it?
Not sure.
Take a deep breath. Don't worry.
I just feel a lot more in the chest, sort of fear.
Yes, it's all right. We're going to release it now. It's going to be released, and that would be very normal. It has to do, too, with, I hear a forgiveness, but also allowing what is happening around you to happen, but acknowledging that it is, versus like, I don't see it because I don't want to see it. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
All right. So it's moving up. I can feel it about, not quite to the throat chakra yet. All right. Now we're going to ask for everybody to receive the healing energy, because it's not just you that is being worked on. It feels like as a collective, this is a big issue for people, that they know things are going on, but it's super hard for them to have to recognize it. And this is where we make the transition, as you raise your frequency, the transition from being sort of a victim of what's happening around you versus being an observer and choosing when to participate. And that's the energetic that we want to switch everybody to, is you're no longer, at the mercy of everything that's going on around you. Instead, you actually are observing it from a higher frequency and choosing when you engage your energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How does that feel? Do you feel like you can do that? That's easier for you to do?
Yes.
All right. Now let's look at that rich man, poor man cycle. Oh my, this is another, what's funny is you've had a lot of rich lives. You've also had a lot of lives where you've been super powerful, but in those, sometimes you've actually exploited it. And in this particular issue that we're going to work on, then I'm going to move on, is in a lifetime you were a tax collector. This has created some karma for you. So let's work on that real quick.
Okay.
It has to do with compassion as well, but also honoring yourself and others. All right. So there you are. I hope everybody feels some relief with that. All right. How do you feel?
I feel confused.
Okay. Why is that?
Mixture of fear and relief and trying to sort things out.
Yeah. So your mind has fear. What happens if you actually get out of the cycle that you're in? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
What does your mind say? Mm-hmm. What is your mind saying to you?
It's just blank.
Okay.
Just had a car accident. I'm not sure what happened. That's what I'm feeling.
All right. That's all right, because it's going to take, Saul, the energy is still working. And for everybody to know, when we do energy work, it will continue to move things out for you. And my suggestion is to go out to my website, GabrielleSpencer.com, download the first and the second. There are two right on the home page. The first one is as soon as you get on, and it's called Prosperity Through Forgiveness. And the second one is called Letting Go to Be in the Flow. And I suggest them because doing them over and over truly works. You don't even have to necessarily go into the phase of, rolling your eyes up. It's just about helping yourself to clear this out. Like, we've taken a big chunk and it's moving, and that's why you're still feeling confused, because it was big, old stuff. And, as you can see, it's things that are, they were traumatic, and so they're going to move out, and you want to help that to continue to move. So go out to the website and grab those audios and do them over and over, and then see how you feel in another couple of days. Ask yourself the same questions. What's next? As I suggested earlier to everyone, that's the question. Show me what's next. And I tell everyone, it's not a blueprint. You're not going to get the full, here's the specs and this is exactly how you're going to do it. It's going to be, you're asking for the next crumb, the next step to show up. That means the person that needs to come, you meet them and, it's an accidental meeting and they give you a tidbit of information that brings you down to the next tidbit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how you start the movement. And it's also helps your mind to play an active role in helping you versus telling you that you need to worry or be scared. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Saul. Go get the audios, and everyone else who's listening, I tell you over and over, you listen to them, they will continue to work deeper and deeper for you, all right? Thank you so much for being on. All right, sweetie. So, Pascaline, tell everybody where you're calling in from.
I'm calling in from Nairobi in Kenya, which is in Africa.
Yes, it's in Africa. All right. And it's like really in the middle of the night there.
Yes, it's 1:16 in the morning.
a.m. Well, we appreciate you being on. That is awesome. All right, so tell us, Pascaline, what I can help you with.
I would like to know where I am vibrationally and what my higher self says about my spirituality. Spiritually, where I am and what I should be doing.
Okay. These are loaded questions, All right, so I'm going to use the scale of consciousness here, okay? So everybody can follow along. The scale of consciousness is by Dr. David Hawkins, and I reference it in my work because it gives us a measurement, which is what Pascaline is asking for. She would like a measurement to know where she is on a frequency scale. And so the frequency scale of the scale of consciousness goes from 0 to 200 is the fear frequencies. So things that make you sad or unhappy, grief, guilt, shame, jealousy, depression, all of those feelings that make you feel yucky. You can pretty much count that those are going to be lower vibrational frequencies, and those are kind of in the suffering bandwidth, okay, according to that scale. And then when you get above that 200 frequency, and what that means is not a spike. We all have spikes where we could either spike high or spike low, right? But it's where your new baseline is. So we all are striving to move our baseline to that above 200 frequency all the time. And yes, you might have a dip, but what you will notice as you raise your frequency is that you dip far less often and not as deeply as you might have in the past. So when a situation happens that in the past would have caused you to spiral way down and you create a lot of sadness or anger, grief, guilt, those things, and normally a situation would send you, spiraling downward, it doesn't anymore. It doesn't trigger you like it had in the past. And that's what we're all striving for, is to get to that level of 200. Because once you get there, the trip to go higher is different. And the things that happen in your life are so much cooler. They're so much nicer. It's like Susie talked about earlier. You get to a place where you just have opportunities and amazing people come into your life. It's just awesome. So just giving you this explanation, what do you think, Pascaline? Where do you think you are? Are you in the 0 to 200 most of the time, or do you feel like you're in the 200 and above most of the time?
I think I am from 200 and above sometimes, but sometimes I feel like I go back down.
Okay, so now that's what you think about it. Now I want you to close your eyes. See, our mind has a lot to say about a lot of things, right? Our mind,
Yes.
I love the mind, as everybody knows, but the mind has a position. And when we are in base programming, where it means we come in with programming, and that programming has the mind in charge, which is why we all want control and we want to think things through. And that's all good stuff. But when it's out of alignment with your heart and your spirit, it actually is what causes your life to be out of balance and to be skewed. Okay, so things don't work the way we imagine they should or that we are hoping they will. So, Pascaline, if you close your eyes,
Yeah.
are you at the baseline of courage and above?
Yes.
Okay, so you and I get the same answer, which is maybe. Because your yes is sort of a, yeah, sometimes. And so the answer I got was maybe. So I think we're the
Maybe.
same.
Yeah.
So it means that you're still sliding up and down the scale versus having that nice firm baseline of 200, where you're not really going down very often. So continue to work on the fear frequencies and releasing the fear frequencies. Okay, the fear things, like I said, the grief and worry and stress are big ones. Anxiety, those all reside in those lower frequencies. So this is where you would go ahead and take the recordings you have. I know you have MP3s of mine, and just listen to them over and over. And every time in the audio where I invite you to add your intention, that's where you would say, whatever the emotion is, like, I feel bereft. You feel very bereft to me, like sad almost. But it's not quite a sadness. It's sort of a drift. It's sort of a sadness and an adrift, which must, if I were to look up the definition of bereft, it probably means something similar to that. So it's more like you're not anchored, and more like you don't feel like you have a direction. So you're not anchored and you don't have a direction. So again, you're bereft. I'm totally liking this word. Anyway, so what we're going to do for everybody, because I can tell you this will be our big ending. Everybody feels this to some degree, where they feel directionless. They're not really sure what direction they are to pursue, and if it's really in their highest and best. And then we kind of get ourselves all mixed up in words and, trying to categorize what it is. And it feels like that's sort of what's happening, is you've got a lot of thoughts about it, and then you have the heart. And so you've got kind of an internal war going on. So your heart says one thing, your mind says something else, and then external factors say something else, and you just have this whole jumble of energy going on. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, sweetie. Close your eyes, please. Everybody close your eyes and help out. Let's raise the vibration, because this is truly important for everybody out there. And interestingly, they're showing me you on, like a stand-up canoe. It's not really a canoe, but it's similar to a canoe, like a small, thin boat, sort of.
Yeah.
It's not a raft. And it's like you have this long pole, and it's like you're trying to go somewhere, but it's almost like you're tethered to the pier.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay. All right, sweetie. So that's the visual, that you're trying to go somewhere, but you're tethered. So let's do what we can to help you with that. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. It's about allowing yourself to be free, and to allow. Allow is your big word, and allow even the merging of the energies versus warring. So we're asking for the energies to sort of, how things feel like when they finally settle, so that you can then get a grasp on what has to happen next. That's also part of it, is that everything in its war, imagine that it's just kicking up a whole lot of emotion, a whole lot of thoughts and feelings, and all this up in the air is actually keeping you more disconcerted because you can't get a clear bead on what you are to do next.
Yes.
And again, this is common for everyone as we are trying to struggle with a direction. You know, we overthink it, and instead of following our heart. And that's the purpose of healing your heart. So your heart has the direction, and your mind then assists the heart to go where it needs to go. All right, everybody, take a deep breath. We've asked for the healing energies to be provided for each and every one for these related issues, because it's a big issue. And so just say yes, you're willing to receive to yourselves, and allow your higher self to assist as we're moving through this piece. I'm starting to feel it move up through the upper portion of my body. All right, Pascaline, take a deep breath. Continue to listen to the audios, asking for this to move, because you have some very strong energies around you that also keep you tethered, as most people do. And it's about, it's like asking everybody, when you do the audios, when I ask you to add your intention, you would invite the higher selves of those other people in your life to be willing to receive the healing, so that they too can sort of let go of their own fears. All right, does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. All right.
I thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next week at the same time, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. I wish you much love and great abundance. Namaste.